This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome everyone to the second annual Snowball Showdown presented by Murder Creek Distillery for night number 2 of this prestigious racing event. Tonight, the Pro Trucks take to the circuit for the DRS Pro Series 150 here on LSR TV and the iRacing Esports Network. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside the booth tonight is Joshua Lee, Hugo Lee in the director's seat for tonight's action. It was an entertaining race last evening for these drivers in the iSupport STR 100. Ryan Kuhn came away with the big money, and he looks to try and come away with the victory in night number 2. Joshua should be an entertaining night of racing here at Five Flags Speedway, especially in these trucks.
Yeah, these Class C trucks are always entertaining, especially on short tracks, and it's such a contrast from last night, going from the street stocks, a pretty slow short track car, to now these high-speed NASCAR trucks. This is going to be a very exciting race for all 150 laps.
Absolutely. A few things to note for tonight. 26 to 27 estimated trucks ready to take the grid. As well, Alex McCollum, one of the top short track drivers in all the iRacing service, the fastest in first and final practice. In the earlier practice, he was up by a 10th and a half. He's going to be one of the drivers to watch along with Blake Neer. Who else are you keeping an eye on, Joshua, in this stacked field of drivers?
Right now, as we're going through qualifying, Ryan Campbell currently fastest with a 15.894. He's going to be on my list to watch along with, like you said, Alex McCollum. And it's going to be interesting to see who can come from the back to the front. We saw that a lot last night. A lot of drivers that started in the back of the field were able to march their way up through the field and finish in the top 10. So I think we could see a dark horse and an underdog take home the win tonight.
Now, a few things to know as well. One of the main differences compared to last night, we will see pit stops for tires. 2 sets, 4 total tires are available for tonight, meaning tire strategy could be a major factor here, Joshua, especially since we're on the V7 tire, where tire conservation, tire heating, and tire wear are 3 of the main pillars of the new design tire on iRacing.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers really deal with it, because this is going to be one of their first times they're experiencing this during a race. And each of these drivers needs to learn that tire extremely quickly, because it will start off cold, it'll warm up, it'll get to a point where these drivers are feeling grippy and they're feeling fast, and then it's going to start to slide off. So it'll be interesting to see when these drivers pit. Are they going to try and split the race in half, or are they going to want fresher tires towards the end? Are they going to want fresher tires towards the beginning? It'll be interesting to see how each driver plans out their strategy.
Right now, many drivers recording their first qualified laps, including Alex McCollum to the top of the board with a 15.726. The NX Racing machine has been on rails in every practice, and now in qualifying is looking to start at the very least at the front of the field in his number 11 machine. His second lap not as quick, but a blistering quick time from Alex McCollum.
And he topped his practice time of 15.755, so it looks like that 11 machine just keeps getting faster as the night progresses.
Tonight's race, before we get underway, remember, is presented by Murder Creek Distillery, located in Brewerton, Alabama, and serving the panhandle of Florida. Murder Creek Distillery specializes in a variety of moonshine flavors. If you're on the panhandle, check out your local liquor store for Murder Creek products today. Check them out online for more info and to see how you can get their products shipped to your door. Drivers just about to get to the front stretch here at Five Flags Speedway for what should be a thrilling night of racing action. Let's take a look at how they will start for this evening's action for 75 miles as we get all set to go for the DRS Pro Series 150. Alex McCollum starts the pole tonight. He'll start alongside Ryan Campbell. They were separated by about a tenth and a half, similar to what we've seen in first practice today. Case Plot starts in the third position with Blake Neer and one of the glove box racing machines starting in fourth. Rounding up the top five, Dallas Pataska.
Hunter Kent will start in the 6th position. RS Center in the 7th position. In 8th, Brandon Holder. 9th, Doug Lemons. And rounding out your top 10 of the starting grid, Ryan Blanchard.
Jason Babb starts in 11th position, while Justin Slider looks to improve upon last night's run in the street stocks. He'll start in P number 12. Max Cookson, he starts in 13th. The eNASCAR Ignite Series champion going to have to deal with traffic along with Charles Lard to his right side at the green flag. Jim Walton rounds out your top 15.
Rocky Boyd will start in 16th. and 17th, Tyler Burden. In 18th, Jaden Dahlberg. 19th, Nick Frolino. And in 20th, Tony Boyd.
And it's Anthony Boot in 21st, the last car to recorded time. The drivers starting at the rear of the field, Ryan Kuhn, Brad Neer, John Ballou, Joseph Ruggiero, and John Taylor, 26 total trucks making their way onto the circuit tonight. Let's talk real quickly about Five Flags Speedway here in Pensacola, for of course, the home of the Snowball Derby. It's a cool track tonight, 65 degrees Fahrenheit, the track temp, air temp 64, half-mile circuit, and a unique facility to say the very least, and a prestigious stop on many different drivers' short track racing careers.
This is a very interesting racetrack, not only because of the size. It is one of these famous short tracks that seems like everybody wants to race at and wants to win at, but the straightaways are very short compared to the turns. This is almost shaped more like a circle than it is an oval, so it'll be interesting to see how these drivers especially conserve tires, because when you're turning, you're wearing the tires. I think tire wear is going to be the key to winning this race tonight.
What are some of the other keys to winning tonight's action as these drivers get rolling behind the pace car?
Keeping out of trouble is going to be a big one. Of course, if you wreck your truck, you're not going to be able to finish the race, so it's keeping your nose clean and trying to just keep that truck in one piece. You can beat and bang a little bit here and there, but if you beat a little bit too much, then you're going to be sitting in the pits for the rest of the race. So trying to just stay out of the wrecks is important. And also, I think track position is going to be important because everyone's going to try and stack up on that bottom line. The bottom line is going to be the dominant line throughout the night, so I think getting to the front and staying up front is going to be key to winning.
Indeed, and remember, it was Ryan Kuhn who came away with the victory for night number 1 in the I Support STR 100. Remember, he's starting in 22nd in his PRG 72 machine. These drivers making their way through turns 1 and 2. Going to be an absolutely phenomenal night for truck racing.
I think it's interesting, Ryan Kuhn elected to not put on a time. Of course, last night's winner in the street stocks. He's going to be starting from way in the back. Let's see if he can march his way up through the field. It'll be interesting to see him race.
Drivers making their way through turns 3 and 4. McCollum in control of the field as they wait for the green flag. We're underway from Five Flags Speedway for the DRS World Series 150 and the second annual Snowball Showdown second day. A great launch by McCollum as Case and Plot already up to second position as they fight for fourth on back as they rush to the bottom. One truck getting loose. Contact in the middle of the pack. It's Ryan Campbell. And our first yellow flag of the evening presented by Barber Ford.
That was a quick wreck there. Turn number 3 had already initiated. That is going to be the important key to winning this race tonight, is staying out of the wrecks. We saw it on lap number 1 in turn 3. I don't think they're done wrecking at all. I think it'll be a challenge to stay safe here.
Yeah, you just went around, and that's one of the main things, though, with the V7 tire model is it takes a couple laps for them to heat up. And the description from drivers such as Caden Lapsevich in discussions with them say it's kind of like driving on the rims of the race car, or the race truck in this case. That reason is why Ryan Campbell goes all the way to the back of the field on the EOL.
And we've only gone less than 1 lap under green. These tires are still fairly cold. I think we're going to see a very similar restart to the one we saw on the first green flag drop of the night, which is everybody just trying to heat up their tires and stay out of trouble. Of course, those cold tires getting the best of Ryan Campbell.
And how do you think the nervousness about the new tires, for the first couple laps at least, might affect some of the pit strategy? Again, essentially available for 2 pit stops to get fresh rubber on the cars for many of these drivers, but that can make it interesting on when they decide to time it out, because this new tire model changes a lot of that.
Yeah, nobody knows really how they're going to react to the tire wear, how the truck is going to react to the tire wear. Their setups are, of course, most likely based off of the old tire model. So it'll be interesting to see how these drivers adapt throughout the race. This could be the first time that they're really racing under this new tire model. So the tire wear is going to be a surprise for almost everybody in the grid. And I think we're going to see a lot of drivers elect to pit earlier rather than later, because they're going to burn up those tires way quicker than they used to.
One thing to note, though, too, Dallas Pataska took a huge hit to the front nose on that 23 machine, as you might have seen in that LSR TV replay of that incident. How do you think that damage is going to affect him throughout this entire night now?
I don't think it'll affect him too much, but he does have to keep an eye on those temps. The oil and water temp of that engine could skyrocket. And so as long as that doesn't happen, I think he should still be up to speed and still a contender for the win. But again, watching those engine temps is going to be important for him now with that front end damage.
Drivers making their way down the front stretch as they line up behind the iRacing official pace car for one to go for our Pro Trek division of the second annual Snowball Showdown. Alex McCollum in the lead. Case and Plot is in second. Pataska, Neer, and Kent rounds out your top 5 as they get all set to go. Once again, these drivers making their way to the DRS restart zone for our first restart of the night. We've seen McCollum go a bit early once they got past the real-world restart zone here at the Snowball Derby. McCollum goes a bit earlier. Green flag is out. We're racing once again from 5 flags. And a good launch for McCollum, but Pataska slow in turns 1 and 2, already falling to 4th, a major difference in horsepower.
He is dropping like a rock down this field already, back to 4th. And it looks like he's going to be challenged for that 4th spot. And the challenger is going to be the number 16 of Hunter Kent. He goes down to the inside, not able to complete the pass. Let's see if he can try down in 3.
Hunter Kent tries to get to the inside, does. That moves him up to the 4th position, and you can tell Pataska's struggling with a bit of engine damage. We still have 142 laps to go, mind you, on this racetrack. Blanchard has also moved up the grid. Cookson moving up. Doug Lemons, though, he got shuffled off the bottom of the racetrack and is dropping like a rock.
He has really fallen back in this order, not what he wanted. It looks like he's found his way into line now on the bottom of the racetrack. That bottom lane looks like it's the dominant one of tonight.
At the back of the field, Ryan Kuhn nearly spun out, locked up the tires, buzzed them, in fact, to keep his truck straight. He is now in 24th position at the rear end of this field, 9 seconds behind the battle for the race lead. Alex McCollum racing in the iRacing Pro Series this year, trying to hold off Case and Plot. That is the brother of Kyle Plot. If you remember Kyle Plot, he qualified 4th in the real Snowball Derby this year.
And Alex McCollum doing a great job of leading this race. We know he has a fast race truck and he is pulling away. But Case and Plot keeping him reeled in, possibly. Maybe his tires are a little bit more warm than Alex McCollum so far. Warm tires right now are good tires, especially right after a restart.
And that leads to the quick next question here as we continue to follow along with these trucks at the moment. At this point, do you rather save the tires and then try and go for a bigger charge towards the middle of the run if we get a longer stint? Or do you try and use up the tires now and risk the long run? Throw that out the window for a second because the caution flag is out. It is a Barber Ford caution flag for Tony Boyd. He gets back going in front of the leaders for a second yellow as his motor's expired.
Unfortunate break for Tony Boyd there, spinning on the 5 flags front straight away. It looks like his setup getting the best of him there, getting a little bit too loose coming off of turn number 4. And ultimately ended with him in the wall and around.
Yeah, got loose on that front stretch. Many drivers, when they've raced here in official races, have done the same thing. But that brings out the caution. But as we are under this yellow flag, it's going to be interesting to see it. Does anybody duck down? Dallas Pataska does with the severe damage. Nobody else does. So the rest of the field stays out on the racetrack. But tonight's race presented by the Dreamer Racing Series. The Dreamer Racing Series strives to provide a competitive environment for online racers with real cash payouts. Get on board for their 2020 DRS Pro Series at drsproseries.com. Be sure to follow them on Facebook as well for all the latest news. should note they had the chance to speak in the drivers' meeting tonight that DRS is the title sponsor for the race this evening for the Pro Trucks.
I think something interesting going on in the pits right now. Dallas Pataska not taking tires. He's getting that damage fixed, but he's still saving those tires for later in the race, and I think that is going to help him to march his way back up to the field. He's a couple laps down now, but like I said earlier, I don't think we're done with cautions for the night. I think he can march his way back up to the field. He has a fast race truck. He qualified up there. I think Dallas Pataska could still be in this race.
Indeed, he joins the pit lane with Tony Boyd, along with Joseph Ruggiero. John Taylor did not make the start, so 25 total made it to the green flag so far. McCollum, though, lines up behind the iRacing official pace truck in the 2-to-go signal here. McCollum, though, has been very comfortable up the front. He's been one of the fastest trucks so far this evening here, Joshua.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of change in the top 5. All these drivers that are up there, qualified up there, except for Max Cookson, marching his way up through the field, started 13th. He's currently in P number 5. He is the biggest mover so far in this race, and hopefully, maybe he'll get up to the lead here soon, but he's going to have to catch Alex McCollum. He is so fast, and I think the only thing that's going to bring him down is tire wear.
Yeah, I've seen him a bit with practice and testing just last week. One of the main goals for his truck was the long run, and he was able to consistently run in that point 16 ones for multiple laps on end in that practice session. That was about a week before the start of the festivities here for the Snowball Showdown. But the lights are out on top of the iRacing official pace car, and it's Alex McCollum in control of the field once again, with Case and Plot in the second position. As they approach their way to the DRS restart zone, bit of a technical issue for your race leader. This is going to make it interesting as Plot tries to time it up. Green flag is out, and a massive launch for McCollum. That might be a bit questionable there with the technical issue.
Yeah, and it's still happening. He is a good straightaway ahead of the field. I don't know what's going to happen with that. Race control going to look into it. But Alex McCollum still having those technical issues, and it looks like race control has thrown the Barbara Ford caution flag.
Yes, indeed, and that's for good reason, because McCollum was 10 truck lanes up the road with that yellow flag. So that's going to reset the field here at this moment, as everyone lines up with 129 laps to go at this point here, Joshua. One of the main things, though, I think we may have both noticed is a lot of the drivers preferring the bottom line. That is the exact same thing we've seen from the iSupport STR 100 last night.
Yeah, last night everybody was fighting for that white line. Everybody wanting to get down there, beating and banging, trying to get into that line. It almost looked like a super speedway race over to the East Coast on Daytona. Everybody just on the bottom making laps. But I think if some drivers try to venture up to the top of the racetrack, of course, with this iRacing dynamic track, the bottom lane is going to start to slick off. It's going to start to become almost greasy and too hot down there. If people try and find some cooler spots around the track and start working it in with the rubber coming off of these tires, I think we could see multi-groove racing. But right now, nobody feeling comfortable doing that right now. Everybody just wanting to log laps on the bottom of the racetrack. So I think that bottom line is just going to keep being dominant throughout the entire 150-lap race.
Some of the drivers actually heating up their tires, as some others making their way around the pace car. That is Jaden Dahlberg, who was the first car 1 lap down. Now he's back on the lead lap here in this field. But still a ways to go, 128 laps to go. And you mentioned the big movers in Max Cookson. That caution moved him up to 4th position. Let's also touch upon John Ballou. He's in 16th position at the moment, but he's +8 for the race so far tonight here, Joshua.
Yeah, started almost dead last in 24th, up to 16th, marching his way up to the field. We have only had a handful of green flag laps, so I think gaining any position so far is amazing with the amount of green flag laps we have had. They are very minimal, and we've had very minimal wrecks, only about 1 or 2 cars spinning in each caution. So good on John Ballou, marching his way up through the field. Maybe we'll see him a little bit later in the race. A little bit too early to tell if he's going to have a dominant truck or not, because we are seeing such a dominant top 5 so far.
Indeed, these drivers still behind the iRacing official pace truck. Again, let's touch upon the rest of this race weekend for those who are tuning in for the first time to the 2nd annual Snowball Showdown. This is the second day of a multi-day event that has drawn in multiple real-world and virtual drivers from across the service. Just going on tomorrow night will be the BK Paints Pole Night, which will help decide the pole running for the Super Late Models, as well as the Pro Late Model Series races taking place this upcoming weekend. That'll take place after the modified truck machines take to the field for the BK Paints 175. You can catch that again here on LSR TV and the iRacing Esports Network. Drivers making their way now to the DRS restart zone once more with 124 laps to go. We'll see how this restart goes. McCollum on the inside, Plot on the outside. As away goes the 11. Green flag is out. We're back to racing here from Five Flags. And this time, contact.
McCollum with a good start. More contact down the bottom of the racetrack. We're seeing that. Everybody fighting for the inside line. Everybody wanting to get down there right close to that white line. And it costs a couple of drivers some contact. And right now, falling like a rock on the bottom of the 14. Who's making that line work on the outside? That looks to be Kason Plot making it work on the outside.
That is also Cookson making it work on the battle with Blake Neer. He was the one who hit the back end of Plot's machine. They're side by side with 122 laps to go in this event. Neer.
Max Cookson in the 39 made the pass work on the outside. Could we be seeing that line come into play here?
Possibly here, as these tires have started to rubber in a little bit, as well as this racetrack. Blake Neer, however, holds on the Hunter Kent battle to keep fourth position here in this DRS Pro Series 150. Now becomes the question, what can Cookson do? He is the fastest truck on the track by a tenth of a second.
Cookson trying to march his way up to the field, now setting his eyes on Kason Plot. Plot setting his eyes on McCollum, about 5 truck lengths up to McCollum, currently leading this race.
At the pole moment, it's a 6/10 of a second lead for McCollum. Plot second, Cookson, Neer, and Kent round out the top 5 on the ticker. But Cookson, the biggest story in the glove box racing Chevrolet. That 39 machine, again, one of the fastest trucks. He's reeling in Plot at this point. What do you think he's going to do? Will he keep it calm, or will he use the bumper like Neer tried to do? Another one of those black box trucks.
I don't know if he's going to use the bumper this early, but he might just try and slightly move Plot up the racetrack, or he's going to try and make a dive on one of these straightaways. Or who knows, he could go back up to the outside. He made it work on Hunter Kent and Blake Neer. He could try to make it work. No, he's going to dive down to the inside on Plot.
Cookson on the inside. Kason Plot defending up high of the 19 machine. Side by side down the backstretch as Cookson tries to get the run, does. Opens up the door as well for Blake Neer in the 14 truck. He will
Neer
also
got down to the inside on Plot, and he'll complete the pass. Plot's going to fall back to P4. Getting a 2-for-1 deal is Max Cookson and Kason Plot.
And now you have to be wondering what McCollum's thinking. It's an 0.8 of a second lead at the moment, but Cookson is quickly closing up the gap. Last time by a 1/10.5 quicker than the 11 truck.
McCollum still leading the way. Still about 5 truck lengths between them. Cookson reeling him in, though. Could be seeing him do a battle for the lead here in roughly 5 laps. Just trying to close that gap, and that gap is substantial. Almost an entire straightaway here at Five Flags.
One of the biggest movers, though, now outside of Cookson. Guess who? It's Ryan Kuhn, the Actor driver as well as the PRG member. He's moving up to the field, has to avoid contact as multiple drivers hit the outside wall into turn 1.
James Babb.
James Babb involved, Rocky Boyd the third involved. Kuhn, though, got through them all. He's up to 11th position after dodging all the trucks.
And they're still 2 wide behind him. Pataska's in there, Campbell, Rocky Boyd, James Babb. They're all fighting for these last positions in the pack. 2 by 2 for a second there, almost 3 wide a couple of times. Pataska getting out of that mess, but Babb, Neer, and Campbell still in it.
Yeah, they're still fighting side by side for 16th on back, but Kuhn up to 10th position just like that. But up towards the front, the gap is closed just about. Cookson still a 1/10 of a second faster than McCollum. What will he do once more? McCollum trying to play defense, but lap traffic is up ahead here, Joshua.
That's going to come into play strongly. Will the lap traffic keep the inside, or will they go to the outside? Will these two drivers have to make the outside work for the pass? McCollum only has a truck length advantage over Cookson. Cookson reeling him in like a bass at Lake Okeechobee.
That hungry fish wants that position. The Glove Box Racing Chevrolet is the car in second. The truck in first. McCollum for NX Racing. One driver already lapped. That's the 7 machine of Anthony Booth getting out of the way. Now they'll have to get around Nick Foligno's machine. He moves his way to the high side, gets out of the way, but this is all allowed Blake Neer to enter the conversation, as everyone recorded a 16-7 last time by.
Neer a little bit further back from this battle, but certainly not out of it. Cookson on the back bumper of McCollum. Will he try to get up there? No, keeping about a half a truck length between him and McCollum currently. Cookson falling back slightly, but still keeping him in his sights. He's not letting him get away.
Yeah, Cookson wants this position near the teammate to Max Cookson for tonight. Also trying to get into a rhythm. The fastest truck, though, last time by McCollum. Looks like Alex McCollum might have found something, because remember, he for one had a second gap, and two, there's a chance he could have saved the tires, allowed Cookson to reel himself in, and then use that to his advantage to be able to plow back forward on the timesheet.
There's also a huge chance his setup is just favoring these long runs. You can set the truck up to be better on worn tires. It is possible he planned for that and is now pulling away slightly. Cookson falling back, but keeping McCollum right near him so he doesn't run away.
As this is all shaping up, let's take a quick look towards the man on a mission, Ryan Kuhn. That Everett's machine is now up to 7th position. The 72 is plus 15, and he's quickly closing in on Ryan Blanchard's number 9 truck. Already within half a straightaway, he looks so confident under braking right now with that 72.
Yeah, he's reeling in Blanchard now in the 9. He's going to be catching Kason Plott and Brandon Holder here soon. Moving out of the way is the number 7 of Anthony Butte. And Kuhn just on a mission trying to find the lead, and he is marching his way up through the field. You can see 3 trucks ahead of him, and he's going to pass here in a few laps.
Right now for Ryan Kuhn, he's running 16.8. That's in the same ballpark as McCollum, Cookson, and Neer at the moment. That's how quick he is at the moment. However, remember he started the back 6 seconds at the moment behind the lead as he takes P number 6. That time Blanchard letting him go, knowing he's the faster truck at the moment.
Yeah, and Ryan Kuhn, I almost think he didn't qualify just to give himself a challenge. He didn't qualify, started all the way back in the 22nd position, and he is up to P number 6 after just a handful of laps. We are on lap number 52, less than 100 to go. Like I said, I think Kuhn just wanted to give himself a challenge here tonight, almost like he was bored.
Well, that's an interesting assertion there, but either way, these drivers coming to 97 laps to go this time by. McCollum, Cookson, Neer, Holder, now Plott as well inside your top 5. As these fights continue to scrap along, one of the fights involves Hunt. He is one of the biggest droppers of the race so far, -4 at the moment. It looks like that 16 truck has not only just a little bit of damage, but is starting to fall off.
Yeah, and he's right near Dallas Pataska right now. One of the drivers a lap down, more than a lap down, I should say, for Pataska. And Kent just falling back through the field. Not sure what's wrong with this truck. I don't think he got into any contact tonight. It could possibly be challenges with this new tire model. He could have just overestimated it and burned his tires off, and he might be ducking into pit road soon.
Still a ways to go in this race here. Do you think they can make it on the field is going to be one of the big questions. Remember, it's a full 18.69 gallon tank.
I think they might be good if they conserve, but we have a caution. Caution flag is out.
Barber for caution flag. It's Rocky Boyd the third around in turn 1. This time it's contact for 17th. He got a bit loose off of 4. James Babb, nowhere for him to go. Tags him in the BK Paints machine. And that brings us back under the yellow flag, coming to 93 laps to go this time by here, Joshua.
And I was going to touch on it before the Barber Ford caution flag came out. I think we're going to start to see some drivers pull it into pit road and change those tires. We are nearing halfway through this race, 58 laps down. I think drivers are just starting to feel the effects of tire wear, and they're going to decide, can they deal with it for more laps or can they not?
Yeah, that's going to be a major question, but this also is going to open up the door for drivers to make their way to the pit lane. Rocky Boy III does get the EOL. The pit road is not at the moment open at this very moment in time, but it's going to be the question, who's going to take them? Case and Plot does. He has gone down to the pit lane.
And we saw Plot having a little bit of trouble with his truck throughout that run. We saw him start in P2, fell back a couple of positions. I think he's starting to feel the effects of that tire wear, and he's going to be using these tires how he wants to use them. He's going to be more cautious now. We could see Plot make a run towards the end. Did he take 2 there? That seemed a little bit short.
For Case and Plot, 6.6 seconds. Hunter Kent, 6.4 seconds. Remember, these drivers do have the option to take 2 tires, because remember, there are just 4 total tires on the car. So let's say you want to take 2 right sides, you can do that. Then say an X caution, take the left sides, and then you still have a full set available. But these drivers, as they make their way behind the iRacing official pace car, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more action. You're watching the second annual Snowball Showdown on LSR TV and the iRacing Esports Network.
In the market for a new or used car or truck, Barber Ford has an amazing selection of new 2019 and 2020 models, as well as a wide variety of pre-owned vehicles in all price ranges. Check out our inventory online at barberford.net. And for a limited time, mention Snowball Showdown in your inquiry to receive $500 extra toward your trade, travel, or transport. Visit us online at barberford.net and find your new ride today. That's Barber Ford. We know cars and trucks.
Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's coverage of the second annual Snowball Showdown presented by Murder Creek Distillery on the iRacing Esports Network and LSR TV. It's been an exciting DRS Pro Series 150 so far, with all the laps being led by Alex McCollum. The question is, can he hold on? Just a couple drivers pit, coming to 88 laps to go as the drivers make their way to the DRS restart zone. Justin Prince alongside Joshua Lee, Hugo Wees in the director's seat as the green flag is back out once again at Five Flag Speedway. It's been an entertaining race so far that has seen multiple fighters and a lot of drivers coming to the field. Kuhn is now one of them who is battling for 4th.
Kuhn marching his way up from 22nd, now in the 4th position. Looking to fight looking to fight Blake Neer now. Cookson got a bad restart there, falling back a couple truck lengths. Could he have used up his tires, marching his way up to the lead? And could he be falling off now? It's going to be, only time will tell.
And I found it an interesting call. No one elected to use their first set of tires there. Why do you feel that is? Do you think they're expecting more potential caution precautions? Or are they taking the gamble here that they like the worn tires they're on right now?
They might be trying to stretch those tires just a little bit further to have fresher tires towards the end so they can race harder for the win if they're in that spot. But I think that's what a lot of these drivers are doing, or it's possible that they're trying to cut the race in half. We are not at that halfway point yet. They might be saying, okay, I can deal with these tires towards the end of the race, so they're just going to cut the race in half, have this scenario at the end of the race. So I think we're going to start to see some drivers duck down into pit road in the next 10 or so laps, or on the next caution, whichever comes first.
Indeed, coming to 83 laps to go. Keep an eye on 3rd position because Blake Neer, he's got a mirror full of Ryan Kuhn. That 72 truck plus 18. He was the first driver not to qualify, and now he's seen Neer hit the bumps and move up the racetrack. Not electing to dive it quite yet, but it looks like Kuhn is right where he wants to be. He has been dead even in pace with these drivers in front of him.
Almost sideways, coming off of turn number 4, trying to get past Blake Neer. He falls back a few truck lengths. He's going to let Blake Neer have that P3 spot for now. But I don't think Ryan Kuhn's going to stay back in P4 for long. He's going to try for P number 3 and then try to run down Cookson and McCollum. But nobody is able to run down McCollum yet.
Yeah, he has held on every single lap, even though Cookson has been able to get to his back bumper. He's just not been able to make the move quite yet in that 39 truck. however close it's been and however fast he's been, just the importance of that bottom line seems to be the main factor in how McCollum's been able to defend so well.
Yeah, nobody running the outside line right now, at least nobody dominant running the outside line. We saw Cookson use it on a couple of passes, making his way up into the top 5 and into the top 3. We haven't seen anybody use it yet. It seems like everybody just going to keep fighting for that white line. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with these drivers if they try to use that middle groove. Maybe they'll find a little bit of speed they didn't know they had.
Remember, though, there was a couple trucks who took service. Case in plot, Hunter Kent amongst those. They're already up to 15th and 17th respectively in what was an interesting strategy call. But they are hampered in a lot of traffic with drivers on old tires.
We have to remember they only took 2 tires. They still have 2 tires left to put on their truck. They don't even have 4 fresh on there. They only have 2 fresh. So it's interesting to see how fast just 2 fresh tires on this truck is. And I think we're going to see some drivers maybe do a little bit of 2-tire strategy here, but I think 4 tires are stronger than 2. So I think if everybody comes down pit road, we're going to see an influx of 4-tire stops.
I agree with you on that one. These drivers, though, making their way to the midway point of this race. The top 2 will pull away. But let's take a moment for the time at your iRacing Midway Race Break, brought to you by iRacing, the world's premier online racing game, professionally sanctioned series by NASCAR and more. Right now, Alex McCollum in the lead. He started on the pole. He's led the entire way so far for the 75-plus laps. Max Cookson is in second, followed by Blake Neer, the teammate to Cookson. Kuhn is in 4th position with Brandon Holder in the 5th spot. Ryan Blanchard holding firm in 6th with Doug Lemons in 7th. Dustin Slider having a quiet run, but a good run in 8th position. John Ballou and Charles Lahr round out your top 10 so far, Joshua.
Yeah, this is an interesting field so far. In 11th, Brad Neer, in 12th, Ryan Campbell. In 13th, Tyler Burden. 14th, Case and Plot. 15th, Hunter Kent. Those 2 drivers taking 2 tires on this last caution. 16th, James Babb. 17th, RS Center. 18th, Jim Walton. 19th, Rocky Boyd III. And in 20th, Anthony Butte. And we're getting down to the drivers more than 1 lap down.
Nick Foligno currently 2 laps down, 21st. Dallas Pataska 7 laps down, but still running in 22nd. Then you have Jaden Dahlberg, the first driver off the track, 49 laps down. Tony Boyd still repairing his engine, 64 laps down. And Joseph Ruggiero, 78 laps down in his pit box. John Taylor did not make the start. But that has been a look at your iRacing Midway Race Break. For more information on the wide variety of sim racing possibilities, visit online at iRacing.com to sign up tonight. It's been an exciting night of racing so far, but as that's been going on, McCollum has a mirror now full of Cookson at the moment as they fight for the lead at the moment, dead even pace as they try and pull away from Kuhn, who's moved up to 3rd, and Blake Neer.
This is nothing new. We saw Cookson catch McCollum earlier in the race, and he's been in the same position. He stayed on his bumper and about 1 truck length back, not making the pass. Could be possible he's saving his tires or he doesn't have the tires to get around McCollum. But either way, McCollum staying in 1st, Cookson staying in 2nd, and they're reaching up on the tail end of the field, and they're 2 by 2 right now. So it'll be interesting to see how these leaders get by.
And right now, some of these drivers having some interesting excursions in that next group of drivers. That is the RS Center, Rocky Boy III, Polino, and Kent grouping. Rocky Boy III has nearly lost it a couple times. Nearly got sideways in turn 1 a couple laps ago. Bunched everyone behind him on up, and Hunter Kent led by Polino as they try and sort themselves out. Now, however, they're being reeled in by 2 truck lengths a corner.
Yeah, and Kent took 2 tires on this stop, and he is still at the tail end of the field. I'm thinking 2 tires were the wrong call for Kent and Plot. They did not march their way up through the field, even with those 2 fresh 2 tires on whichever side they chose. So I think 4 tires is going to be the key. If you're going to pit, just take 4. No sense in doing 2-tire stops. Now they're going to be at a disadvantage for the rest of this race.
RS Center, the designer from Georgia and driver from that state, now a lap down. So is Hunter Kent. There are lucky dogs, so they are going to start fighting for that. Hunter Kent's in the lucky dog spot, but everyone's stacking up now behind Foligno. Foligno trying to make his way to the top side. McCollum makes his way to the bottom. All while they still have to get by Rocky Boyd III still once more as they make their way down the backstretch. This is dicey lap traffic for these machines. They're 3 seconds ahead of the rest of the group, though.
And it's helping Cookson. Cookson's on the bottom. He's looking at the outside. We have a battle for the lead with Cookson on the outside, trying to make it work.
McCollum to the apron now. He backs off the gas. Cookson goes up to the high side. What will Cookson elect to do? Tries to dive in the corner. Rocky Boy the third still wants the bottom side. He's been sideways in that 21 truck for much of the evening. He tries to stay up towards the top. Squeezes the race leader as Cookson checks up. This is getting very dicey with lap traffic here.
Boyd keeping in front of McCollum, not letting him by. Shades of Ryan Newman out on this racetrack. Cookson tried to make the outside work. He was unable to, and he has contact now. Up the racetrack is Cookson.
That time it was Foligno making contact with the left rear. He loses about 6 or 7 truck lengths. Oh, well, McCollum is still trying to find a way on by. Still cannot get Rocky Boy the third. They've already been warned to be mindful of the race leaders. Finally, McCollum tries to get up top, pushes up the hill, however. This is getting crazy with the lap traffic as Pataska's now on the inside.
Cookson now finding his way back to McCollum. We're going to have another battle for the lead. Just when you thought Cookson was out of it for a few laps, he's right back to it. McCollum all the way on the outside, 3 wide for a moment there, trying to get past this lap traffic.
And this is all allowing Ryan Kuhn to close in. They're now telling Boyd the third to yield to the leader. He is still yet to do so. Finally does as he bobbles off a turn 2. Cookson gets by as well. And now Cookson has to deal with Dallas Pataska, the 22nd place truck. He's looking to try and get one of his laps back in the 23. McCollum elects to give him the lap back, but here comes Cookson up on the bottom side. Can't get to the inside quite yet. Tries to dive it in, but can't get to the quarter panel of McCollum.
It looks like the tire wear on these leaders is not that substantial. They still are able to dive it into the corners, diamond it, almost run anywhere they want. So it looks like this V7 tire model, everybody has figured it out pretty quickly. These tires still pretty fresh. I don't think we're going to see some pit stops for a little bit from these drivers. Maybe on the next caution they'll elect to bring it in just for those 4 fresh Goodyears, but right now everybody making the tire wear work for them, and Cookson back on the back bumper of McCollum as Pataska pulls away, getting one of his laps back.
How big was that situation? 1 second loss, but trouble for Charles Lahr in the 44 truck. He's falling down the order because more traffic carnage. Multiple drivers fighting for position for 10th on back, lined up behind Jim Walton. They're 2 wide. Lemons trying to hold off Case and Plot, as that will move Case and Plot to the bottom side. Lots of craziness across this track now.
Looking like a beehive back in the back of the pack. And Charles Lahr in the 44 continuing to fall back on the outside. Looks to be Tyler Burden trying to make his way past. Actually, that is Doug Lemons on the outside making it work a little bit, but getting past him is going to be Tyler Burden and Charles Lahr. Now Lemons falls back to the 14th spot.
Caution flag is out. The Barber Ford caution is out, and it is a caution involving Foligno, it appears. We are back under the Barber Ford caution. This was with contact off a turn 4 with John Ballou. Ballou's truck destroyed. He's immediately gone to the garage area. He was inside the top 10, Joshua.
An unfortunate break for him. Ballou, one of the best drivers out here, humbled to the core, and he just unfortunately got bit by the Five Flags monster, and he is out of this race. The 88 had a good run, but unfortunately late in the race getting taken out. That is the worst way. 100 laps, you almost feel like it was all for nothing as he falls short 50 laps of this race.
That caution flag, though, draws the leaders to pit for the first time tonight as they look to use their set of tires now. Up on the jacks go all the race leaders, and this is going to get interesting for anyone else who elects to stay out or elects to take their other 2 tires available. Out first, though, is McCollum with a big advantage over Cookson.
McCollum took 4. I believe Cookson took 4. Everybody that is on pit road taking 4. It looks like the 14 of Blake Neer maybe took 2. Looked like he had a very shorter stop and came out. It looks to be P3 or 4. He came out ahead of Ryan Kuhn. So it looks like Blake Neer electing for 2 tires. I don't know if that's going to help him for long after this restart. Now everybody up towards the front, at least most of them, with 4 fresh Goodyear tires.
Here's a gamble, though. If Tyler Burden elects to stay out, he'd be the only driver inside the top 15 plus to not pit. He's elected to come down realizing the situation, because do you end up wanting to stay out on 100 lap-o tires? Very likely no.
He could have been betting on the fact that these drivers are still racing pretty good on this tire wear. He might have been hoping for these drivers to pit later rather than sooner and have fresher tires towards the end of the race, but this is the only pit stop they're going to get now. 4 fresh Goodyears on most of the field. They're going to have to make those work for about 45 laps to the finish.
Drivers lined up behind the iRacing official pace car as we come to 46 laps to go in the DRS Pro Series 150. Once again, tonight's action, though, presented by Murder Creek Distillery, located in Brewton, Alabama, and serving the Panhandle of Florida. Murder Creek Distillery specializes in a variety of moonshine flavors. If you're on the Panhandle, check out your local liquor store at Murder Creek Products. For local Murder Creek products today, check them out online for more info and to see how you can get their product shipped to your door. Drivers lined up as they get ready to go to the DRS restart zone. And the Pro Trucks for the Snowball Showdown all set to get back rolling. 45 laps to go. McCollum, Cookson, Neer, Kuhn, and Holder are your top 5. As they take the green flag, we're back to racing once again from 5 flags.
McCollum, the master of restarts tonight. Every restart, he has gotten a good jump, and he is a good 3 truck lengths away from Cookson. But Cookson has a mirror full of Blake Neer. It looks like Kuhn catching Neer slightly. I don't know how those 2 tires are going to work for Neer in the long run.
Should note that Doug Lemons parked for the rest of the night for this evening's action as they continue to try and fight. A big launch, yes, but Kuhn, he wants 3rd. Bumbles on the bottom. Neer drops to 4th. Holder can't follow through in the hole. Blanchard tries to follow suit as well in the line, but Kuhn has been one of the biggest movers.
I switched cameras over to Blake Neer, and it looked like he got a little bit loose getting into turn number 1. I don't know if this 2-tire call is working well for him. He fell victim to Kuhn. It looks like Brandon Holder, we haven't talked about him all race. He's up now in P number 5. Holder might be looking for P number 4 here on Blake Neer.
Should note that Lar now into the garage area, had trouble down the front straightaway. We still stay green with 41 laps to go this time by the racetrack. But a second plus advantage for McCollum at the point from the rest of the field. A stellar run for him so far as he looks to try and continue to lead at 40 to go here. What's it going to take for someone to try and dethrone McCollum for the race lead here?
I think it's, ironically, I don't know why I'm saying this, but I think it's going to be tire wear. We saw these drivers almost get faster as the tires worn, especially Max Cookson. We're seeing him fall back more than a second right now on McCollum, and he was able to reel him in on what? Worn tires. So I think right now Max Cookson just needs to hope that McCollum wears his tires quicker and Cookson wears his tires quicker as well. But Kuhn now in a battle for P number 3 with Blake Neer. Neer takes P number 3 back. Holder now to the inside of Kuhn.
Last time by, Kuhn didn't get a run well out of turn 4. Now he cycled outside the top 5 as a result. Trying to battle underneath this Blanchard as he gets to the corner panel. No. Kuhn able to get the momentum up on the high side as he slaps the wall with the 72 truck. A bit of fender damage now in the Everett's machine as he drops down to 6th position on the field.
It looks like Blake Neer almost waking up here. A couple of laps past the restart, possibly those 2 tires now warming up along with the tires he already had on his race truck. So it looks like he's catching him, but speaking of catching, Cookson went from 0.9 seconds back to 0.4. He is within striking distance of McCollum into 1.
To correct you, Joshua, 4 tires was near situation, just a second quicker in the pit boxes. But right now, that gap, yes indeed, is going down. It looks like Cookson a bit better on entry to Apex at the moment, while McCollum seems to prefer the exit to be able to get a lot of the time he's having on the racetrack. Thing is, though, they've reached lap traffic. James Babb, the first driver of the lap, that was the 9th place truck and is.
So far the outside now, letting the leaders by, letting them get on with their racing. 0.546 seconds back is Max Cookson. Started P number 13. He's up to P2, challenging for the lead. McCollum has not given up that lead at all tonight. I think he's going to be hard-pressed if he's going to not win this race. It is his race to lose at this point.
Indeed, right now, when he has the chance to lap his way up to 8th position, the next truck up on the field is Tyler Burden. Remember, stayed out a couple laps extra and then came down to the pit lane in his 06 truck. But this time by, Cookson a little bit quicker. They've been able to pull away from Near, Holder, and Kuhn now by 3 seconds once more. Out and off the racing line goes the 06. That moves the 8th place driver into the lucky dog spot.
Cookson staying the same distance between him and McCollum, about 0.5, 0.4 seconds. Not getting any closer, but not getting any further away, as we are now down to 29 laps to go in this race. I think Cookson is going to have to turn up the heat a little bit on McCollum if he wants to get around him before the end of this race. Everyone kind of settling out now. I think everyone's going to be settling now, and we might not see another caution before the end of this race.
Someone turning it up a notch is Ryan Kuhn. He just took 4th position away from Brandon Holder, and all of a sudden his pace has come back once again for the long run. He was the fastest truck on the racetrack that time by the stripe.
I talked about it a little bit earlier, and I sounded crazy, but I think I might be right. It is tire wear. These drivers made sure their setups were good for worn tires. So I think as these tires get hotter, as they wear, these drivers are getting a little bit faster and a little bit more comfortable. We're seeing it with Kuhn, and I think we might see it with Cookson here in just a little bit as he fights past that lap car, number 21, Rocky Boyd again.
Tapping the wall was Kuhn this time by. That moves him to a 16.597. He was in the 4s for the previous 2 laps. But it's going to become the question, is there going to be enough time for Kuhn to say, reeling the leaders, they're still 3.5 seconds behind, as he still also, mind you, has to get by this 14 truck in Near.
Near making his truck about as wide as 5 Flag Speedway right now. Not wanting to let Kuhn by. Kuhn looks to the inside. Not going to be able to complete the pass, trying to squeeze his nose in there. No. Near keeps P number 3 in the meantime, but Kuhn is not done with him. They're catching up on Rocky Boyd, and Rocky Boyd spins! He is around on the apron, and the Barber Ford caution flag is waving with less than 25 laps remaining.
And let's take a look at the OSR TV replay if we can here with the 21 truck. And for Rocky Boyd III, just looked like he snapped around off the exit of turn 2. He is done for the night as a result from that.
Yeah, earlier in the race, he was blocking the leaders almost, not letting them by at all. And race control saying, we've had enough of you. He is disqualified from the rest of this race. We'll see what happens in the rest of the weekend with him, but tonight he is going to be spending a little bit of time and willing to bet in the race control hauler after this race is done.
Indeed, but with 22 laps to go now in the DRS Pro Series 150, what do you think is going through the heads of these drivers? Because now this regroups everybody again. A 3-second advantage for McCollum and Cookson, gone.
Well, right now, these drivers can't do anything except race. They already have their 4 tires on their truck. They did their 1 pit stop. Now they just have to race to the end. And right now, everybody's trying to figure out, how can I maximize my positions right now? Cookson, all he can do is pass McCollum. McCollum, all he can do is block Cookson. Will we see an upset here? Blake Neer sitting in P number 3. He has a shot for the win. Ryan Coons in P number 4. Holder P number 5. I'd say everybody from P6, which is Ryan Blanchard, up, has a chance of winning this race if they stay stacked up on this restart. But McCollum has been the master of restarts tonight. He has got away by a few truck lengths every time, and if he does that again, I don't know if Cookson's going to be able to catch him.
It's going to make it very interesting. I agree with you on that one. Tyler Burton, by the way, pit this time. He was the lucky dog. Just 8 drivers will be on the lead lap for this restart, coming to 20 laps to go here. We talked a bit about that, but what do you think guys like Holder can do to try and fight for position here? What do you think Blanchard can do? Campbell, they still have a chance if things go awry. Honestly,
it's 20 to go at 5 Flag Speedway in the Class C trucks. I think it's time to use that bumper. Maximize your space on the track. If you want to get by a guy, smack him out of the way. This is short track racing on a beautiful Thursday night here in Pensacola, Florida. We are inside 20 to go. Just use the bumper. Right now, friends are out the window. Everybody is your enemy. You just want track position. And if you're going to have to wreck a guy to do that, so be it.
Lights are out on top of the iRacing official pace car as the Pro Trucks for the second annual Snowball Showdown get set to go. McCollum and Cookson start on row 1, Neer and Kuhn row 2, Holder, Blanchard row 3, Campbell, Burden row 4. Behind them, everyone else is a lap down. They approach the DRS restart zone as McCollum brings them back to the green flag once more. 18 to go from Five Flag Speedway, and another phenomenal start for the 11 truck tonight.
Cookson made a good move going down to the turn number 1. He blocked the 14 of Blake Neer on the inside. He was able to keep that track position. He's still in P number 2, trying to reel in Alex McCollum. Now everybody single file, majority in the top 10.
The question is, how long does that stay single file with it being money time? These drivers fighting for the big payday. Cookson right now 1.5 truck lengths behind McCollum. Neer still in the 3rd spot, but Kuhn, remember, has been all over his back bumper for about 40 laps or so, hungry to get back to the 3rd position.
Cookson running out of time when they come by the start-finish line this time. It'll be 15 to go here at Five Flags. Cookson just needs to reel in McCollum, but McCollum keeping the lead. He is not letting anybody by. 0.447 seconds is the gap. Kuhn trying to reel in Blake Neer for P number 3.
Right now, no one has made a move yet to dive to the inside. Neer taking a bit of less time off the corner, tries to get faster off of it. Kuhn reels him in turns 1 and 2, trying to find a way to get to the inside into turn 3. Not yet. It almost looks like Neer's backing up the corner, trying to not to give a chance for Kuhn to get a run.
Back up to the front with Cookson and McCollum. Cookson falling back now, 0.515 seconds back in P number 2. Everybody spreading out now with these roughly 40-lap worn tires. This is not the close finish we've seen, but I don't know if we're done with those Barbara Ford caution flags yet, as we're going to near in 12 laps to go now. It'll be 11 and then 10 to go these next 2 times past the start-finish line.
One truck is blown up. It's Brad Neer, the 12th position machine. He'll get off the racetrack safely. But the fight also heating up for 5th position, coming to 11 to go. Holder having to play massive defense as he goes up the hill. Blanchard falls down the bottom. And look who's following soon as well. The lucky dog in the last caution, Tyler Burden, makes his way up and makes contact with the 9. He checks up. They're side by side for position number 6 on the racetrack with 10 to go.
Blanchard makes his way up into P number 5. Holder fighting for P number 6, but he'll fall victim to Tyler Burden. Holder down into P number 7. Campbell looking to make a move on Holder now for P number 8.
Kuhn just took away 3rd position as that contact was going on. Cars are spinning as the Barbara Ford caution flag comes out. It's Tayson Plott set hard into the outside wall. He got hit from behind by Dustin Slider, as that brings us under the yellow with under 10 laps to go. This could change everything.
I told you we weren't done with these Barbara Ford caution flags. Now McCollum and Cookson back up together again, but look who is in P number 3. We talked about him all night, from P number 2 now to P number 3 in the fight for the victory. Ryan Kuhn, could he be the underdog here at Five Flags?
What do you think he will do here? Because McCollum's been going essentially 1 second after the pace car. How do you think he is trying to discuss things to try and time up this start? Him and Cookson, because this could decide the race.
If I'm Kuhn, all I'm thinking is just stay on the back bumper of McCollum. Right as you see his truck move slightly, you slam on the gas. Make sure that there's the least amount of space between you and McCollum going into turn number 1, so you can keep him reeled in and make that move somewhere on the racetrack, because we're going to be inside 5 laps to go when we go back to racing. And Cookson just needs to time it well. He knows when McCollum has been going this whole time. He's going right at the pace car. Just bet on the fact right now, we're at the point in the race where if you get a black flag for a restart violation, it doesn't matter. The race is almost over. You just need to go for the win. Black flag, so be it. Just try and get that victory. That is all that matters.
Jason Plot given the EOL penalty for causing the caution flag. Also, the lucky dog was James Babb. He moves up to 9th position on the circuit. But don't forget, this is just day 2 of a phenomenal week of action for the 2nd annual Snowball Showdown. Tomorrow night, it is the BK Paints 175 and BK Paints whole day as qualifying gets underway under the lights for the Pro Late Models and the Super Late Models. These will wrap up with the modified main event, the BK Paints 175. You can catch that all on the iRacing Esports Network and LSR TV starting at about 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Should be an absolutely phenomenal night of action tomorrow evening, but these drivers getting ready for what appears to be a very short run here. Remember, there is the chance of GWCs, so this could get very entertaining.
This is going to be the most entertaining restart of the night. Could we see another Barber Ford caution flag tonight? Lights are out on top of the iRacing Ford Mustang pace car. We'll be going green with 3 laps to go. It all comes down to this. All 147 laps leading up to this point don't matter. These next 3 are the most important 3 of the race. They'll come to the DRS restart zone and go back to racing here at 5 Flags.
The DRS Pro Series 150 comes down to this. To the DRS restart zone they roll. Green flag is back out. A good launch by McCollum, but just a good launch by Kuhn. Nearly makes contact with Cookson for 2nd spot as they spin behind him. Caution flag is out as we will go back to the old flag. Case and Plot involved. Also involved is Dustin Slider. And this didn't have anything to do with Plot for the cause of it. Slider got hit from behind by the 76 truck. Jim Walton, as you'll see.
The race being extended for this green-white-checkered finish. The first of 3 attempts we will have tonight. Here's how this green-white-checkered will work. If you're not familiar with one of these here in NASCAR, 1 green flag lap. They'll take the white flag. Once that white flag has waved, the race is over. Whichever flag is waved next is the final flag that will be waved, and then they'll come around to the checkered flag. Of course, albeit that they didn't wreck. If they wreck on that green flag lap, we'll set them up again. We have 3 tries at it here tonight. But once they take that white flag, all bets are off coming to the checkered, and I think a truck just blew up there.
Yep,
looks
Case and
to
Plot.
be, yes, Case and Plot has blown up.
That was in front of the leaders. Remember, he was involved in the caution flag. Walton, EOL penalty, lucky dog this time going to Hunter Kent. He is multiple laps down now to just 1 lap down, as that involved a majority of the lucky dog eligible drivers here. But again, with the GWC, what do you expect Cookson and Kuhn to do to try and get by McCollum, who has led now all 150 plus laps of the DRS Pro Series 150?
Well, I think they learned from that last restart that McCollum isn't going to change anything. He's doing the same thing he's done all race. I think they're just going to need to throw caution to the wind right now and just stay on the back bumper of McCollum. That's for Kuhn. Cookson just needs to stay right next to him. Like I said earlier before the last restart, if you get a black flag, so be it. It doesn't matter this late in the race. You just want to go for the win. And if it means jumping a little bit early and trying to maximize your position, you're going to have to just deal with it.
Indeed, here they're still lined up behind the official iRacing pace car here. And at this point, you have to wonder who's going to take the checkered flag. Again, McCollum's been leading the whole way. You have to say this has been the drive of the weekend so far. To be able to hold on for so many laps and look so consistent. He was again one of the contenders in the iSupport STR 100 last night.
And this is McCollum's race to lose. He has led 150 plus laps in the entire scheduled distance plus more. As we go to green-white-checkered here, this is his race to lose. If he loses this race, he is going to be rethinking everything after this race, but the field is 2 by 2. This is going to be an exciting finish as they come to the DRS restart zone for the first attempt at a green-white-checkered.
First GWC of the DRS Pro Series 150. Sees Cookson try and jump it. McCollum gets the launch. Not as big of a one this time, with 2 laps to go from 5 flags.
Cookson hasn't reeled in.
Side by side for third. Kuhn making contact with Near. Still green as one truck spins to the back on turn 2. One more truck sent spinning. It is Near. Caution flag is out. The Barber Ford caution will bring us to a second GWC.
The first attempt short by just a few feet there. The caution coming out within a truck length of the start-finish line. Man, that restart was insane. Cookson had McCullum reeled in for the first time tonight. He finally figured out his restart game. Now the question is, will McCullum switch it up for this second green-white-checkered attempt? Or will it be the same thing, and will Cookson and Kuhn quickly follow on?
Question is, what will happen to Kuhn? He was the man, mind you, Joshua, who made door-to-door contact there with Near in the fight for third position.
I think his truck is fine, and right now, it honestly doesn't matter. If you make contact for track position, you make contact for track position. You don't need to worry about long runs. You just need to worry about these 2 laps in the green-white checker. Of course, everyone was saying that before the last one, and now we have 2 more to worry about in the second attempt. Remember, we still have a third attempt at this if we wreck during the next one. And it could come down to a third attempt. These guys are feeling a little bit racy right now. And we saw 2 wrecks in 2 restarts.
What can McCullum do to try and throw Cookson off the restart game this time?
Switch it up. Tried it. He's been going on the pace car this entire race. Try to go when the flagman waves that green flag. Cookson will stack everybody up behind him. You can jump a little bit before that because the leader has discretion. From the moment the pace car reaches the pit road to the green flag being waved, the leader can go anywhere in there. I say just switch it up. Go either on the green flag or a little bit before it. Catch everybody else off guard and even make Cookson jump you so he gets a black flag and then go. It'll be interesting to see what McCullum does here in this restart. Lights are still on the iRacing Ford Mustang pace car. We'll be going green here in a matter of minutes for the second attempt at a green-white checkered.
And that swings back towards Cookson once again. You mentioned a little bit about trying to stack up the field or going as soon as the pace car drops. What can Cookson do to try and time up to the unpredictable?
I think he's just going to have to choose a time and go. I've been saying it for the green-white checkered in the first attempt and now in the second. If you get a black flag, it doesn't matter at this point. The race is pretty much over. You won't have to worry about making your way back up through the field. This whole race, not even for points, it's all for prize money. Just go for the win, do whatever it takes. I think whatever it takes for Cookson is just trying to bet on when McCullum will go. And if he jumps it, he jumps it. Kuhn needs to just stay on the back bumper of McCullum all he can to hopefully knock him out of the way in turn number 1 and try and take that lead. 2 laps to go here in the second attempt, green-white checker.
To the DRS restart zone they go. Second GWC of the DRS Pro Series 150. Off and away goes McCullum, this time going off the pace car. Cookson stuck side by side. Ryan Kuhn wants to go to second. Cookson lets him on go as the 72's in the highest spot he's been all night, coming to the white flag this time.
Kuhn takes P2, Cookson on the back bumper of him, and Kuhn catching up to McCullum a little bit, but Cookson back to the inside for P2 on the final lap of the race.
1 lap to go here in the iRacing Esports Network and LSR TV. Alex McCullum, he was the pole sitter. The NX Racing machine will come home leading every single lap. He wins on day number 2 of the Snowball Showdown and takes home the DRS Pro Series 150 trophy.
If you look up domination in the dictionary, you will see a picture of Alex McCullum's race truck leading 162 laps tonight, the entire scheduled distance and 12 more. What a dominating performance from Alex McCullum.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the unofficial race results as they start to celebrate up on the front stretch here at Five Flags Speedway. Alex McCullum started on the pole, held on to the lead the entire night. Domination in the Pro Trucks class. He wins over the man who started in 22nd. Plus 20 for Ryan Kuhn. He gets second place prize money for the evening. Max Cookson rounds out the top 3. We'll speak to your top 3 in just a few moments here in the iRace on the iRacing Esports Network and LSR TV. James Babb finished in 4th, Blake Near in 5th, There was a bit of carnage though, 6 on back. Kent moved up to the spot. Blanchard held on to 7. Vernon in 8th. Brandon Holder in 9th. And the only car 1 lap down, Ryan Campbell, rounded out your top 10, Joshua.
Anthony Butte in 11th, 7 laps down, and everybody back was caught up in a wreck, 10 or so laps down. Dustin Slider in 12th, Jim Walton in 13th, 14th Case and Plot, 15th RS Center, 16th Brad Neer, 17th Rocky Boyd III, 18th Dallas Pataska, 19th Charles Lahr, and rounding out in the top 20, Doug Lemons.
21st position, John Ballou, 62 laps down. Nick Foligno in 22nd. Jaden Dahlberg finished 23rd. Tony Boyd, Joseph Ruggiero, and John Taylor round out the 26 drivers who made the starts this evening. And man, oh man, it was an entertaining DRS Pro Series 150 tonight. And the man who came home was Alex McCollum. As everyone makes their way towards victory lane, let's take a chance to first off talk to our 3rd place finisher. He's now standing by, Max Cookson. He came home after being one of the fastest trucks tonight. And now he's standing by with us here in the LSR TV and iRacing Esports Network booth. Max Cookson joins us here on LSR TV and the iRacing Esports Network. Max, 3rd place run tonight. One of the fastest trucks this evening. How would you describe how your race went tonight?
Pretty good, I guess. I missed Q, so I had to come from deep in the field and really burnt the tires up doing that. So I didn't really have much to Alex there in that first run.
What did you need to do to try and get a run on McCollum? Because it seemed like you were able to reel him in, get to the back bumper nearly, and then just couldn't get the run to get to the bottom to make the move.
Yeah, I was only good on those really long runs. Just didn't play in my favor. And then those restarts there, being stuck on the top. Tried to get back to Kuhn there in 3 and 4, but was only able to get 3rd there.
Max, talk about this V7 tire. Of course, this is the first time that we've seen it on these pro trucks here on the iRacing Esports Network. How did it work for you? Of course, we saw you pitting around lap 100 with the rest of the field. Was it a lot of tire wear than usual, or was it sort of on par with the V6 tire model?
There's definitely a lot more tire wear, and you really got to maintain your tires and kind of build the sets differently, to cater the tires more, not the driver. But it's definitely going to be a change, but it's something everyone's going to have to get used to and adjust to.
Now, Joshua, I should say Max Cookson, pardon me. He saw a good run last night in the sportsman's class, a good run tonight in the pro trucks. Tomorrow night, though, it's the BK Paints 175 and qualifying for the rest of the classes for the entire weekend. How do you look to build the momentum as the action continues on to the weekend dates?
Yeah, in the street stock race, that was just kind of came down to fortune there, and then in this, I think I was a P2 truck tonight. Just happened to come home 3rd, but I'm feeling pretty good about all the other classes. Gonna go do some testing after this, and we got Mod Q coming up here in a little bit, so just gonna have to really dial in to be there.
Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you get back to your team for tonight?
Yeah, BK Paints, Barber Ford, Glovebox Motorsports, JB Law and Associates, and you guys and everyone else put this on.
Congratulations on 3rd place finish tonight, Max.
Thank you.
That was Max Cookson coming away 3rd tonight. Standing by with your 2nd place finisher now, Joshua Lee, is with Ryan Kuhn. Joshua?
Stock 1 is 75.
Ryan Kuhn, the number 72 truck tonight, finishing P number 2. Ryan, you marched your way plus 20 positions. You started back in 22nd. Talk about your march through the field. Was it easy or difficult to make your way through the field in this Class C truck?
It was fairly difficult to get through the field there, and I was just trying to be very patient. I didn't have much time to set anything up. I had work most of the day, and I told one of my buddies to see if he could put something together, and he put a pretty good piece together, and I adjusted off that, and had some really good long run speed, and I felt like the only way we were fast if we had 20 to 30 lap runs. But yeah, that truck was fast. Thanks to Jacob McLeod for staying home today and making a setup for me.
Was the call to not qualify a strategic one, or was it just something that you didn't have time to put in a time? Why didn't you put in a qualifying time earlier tonight?
I messed up my first lap. I went out for my second lap, and then got a little loose and bounced off the wall in the back stretch. And I said, all right, I'll start at the back, and it kind of worked out pretty good. Got a little bit more money, and I'll take that and go on tomorrow night.
We've been talking about it all night, the V7 tire. Of course, the first time we're seeing it here on the iRacing Esports Network with the Class C trucks. How did it work for you? Are you a fan of it, or do you want to go back to those V6 tires?
As of right now, I'm a fan of it. I figured it out in the street stock end last night and week 13. But this is my first ever time in the truck on the new tire model. Tonight, around 6 o'clock-ish was my first, or 5 o'clock-ish was my first time on the V7 tire in the truck. But as of right now, I'm liking it. A few people don't, but I'm actually kind of a fan of it, especially after the last update where they had the tire warmer update. I'm liking it a lot more now.
Ryan Kuhn finishing P2 tonight here at Five Flag Speedway. Thank you for your time. Now Justin Prince is standing by with your winner tonight, the number 11 truck of Alex McCollum.
Once again, thank you very much for the time for Ryan Kuhn. Alex McCollum, though, led every single lap, started on the pole. Alex, domination fest this evening. How do you feel after leading every single lap this evening?
Hello?
Hello.
It feels pretty good. I worked on the truck pretty good. Got it really hooked up for the long run. Me and Cookson worked on a good truck. Me and Blake and me, Cookson, and Near worked on a pretty good piece for tonight.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a good one. How would you describe how your truck handled with the new V7 tire model from short run, mid long run, long run? Cookson said he had his setup for the long run. How was your setup?
I was also set up for the long run. I struggled a lot during the week, so I was up until 2 in the morning working on this thing, and luckily I hit on something for the long run. Saved my tires until it was time to go with 20 to go.
How difficult was it, though, to hold on, especially once you got to the GWCs and the pressure started to build as everyone still tried to fight hard to keep up?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be tough. Try to get best restarts as best I can. Luckily, handed out in my favor.
Now, of course, a lot more racing action to go throughout the weekend. Your thoughts as we enter the day 3 tomorrow night?
I feel really good. I think I have a shot to win all 3. Just all luck.
Is there anyone you want to thank for being a part of your victory this evening?
Max and Blake Neer for helping me work on this thing, get it ready. SimiCube, iRacing, and you guys for broadcasting, and everyone put on that event.
Congratulations on the victory tonight, Alex. A heck of a show.
Thank you.
That was Alex McCollum coming away with the victory this evening here on the iRacing Esports Network and LSR TV. Once again, thank you once more to Ryan Kuhn, Alex McCollum, as well as Max Cookson for taking the time to speak with us tonight in the official TeamSpeak provider of the Snowball Showdown, tserverhq.com. tserverhq.com, with whether you're a team owner, league organizer, or just wanting a place to hang out with your friends, give you a place to check out. With it offering TeamSpeak servers starting at just a couple bucks and guaranteeing 99.9% uptime or your money back, you really can't go wrong. That's tserverhq.com, and be sure to tell them the guys at the Snowball Showdown sent you. Now, Joshua, a heck of a run tonight for day number 2 of the Snowball Showdown. What are your final thoughts before we head off into the dark set?
I think Alex McCollum is completely dominant tonight, and we saw another dominating performance from Ryan Kuhn. He won last night in the street stocks, P2 tonight. I think he's going to be dominant all weekend long, leading up to night number 5 in the Snowball Showdown. It'll be interesting to see how he does in the super late models and qualifying tomorrow night and the modifieds tomorrow night as well. I think it'll be an interesting weekend to say the least. This is the only race that I will be here for, but it was a blast. These Class C trucks are exciting anywhere they go, and especially on a short track like Five Flags here on this beautiful Thursday night. Can't ask for a better scenario for great racing.
Absolutely indeed here. But once again, to remind you what's happening tomorrow night, it's BK Paint's Pole Night, where the modifieds will have their last chance race before the Pro Late models qualify at 8 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Super Late models. Then it will be the BK Paints 175 for the modified main event. You can catch that again here on the iRacing Esports Network and on LSR TV. but it's time to say goodbye. Thank you very much for tuning in for the second annual Snowball Showdown, second day, presented by Murder Creek Distillery and the DRS Pro Series 150. For Joshua Lee, for Hugo Lee, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see you for day number 3, live from the Five Lake Speedway.